last time we saw that Bhagwan told Arjun the most secret Gyan and asked him to ponder over it. And then he said, do you as wish. Whatever you wish, you do. I'm not going to interfere in your decision making. However, when Arjun did not respond, Bhagwan again emphasized on what Arjun should be doing. That was in Shlok 65 and 66. Bhagwan knew that Arjun is about to capitulate. So he gave a nudge to Arjun, saying that you should not worry. Take refuge in me and I will free you from all your pap. Now what are the pap here, what Bhagwan is referring to? The pap, what Arjun was thinking, if I kill all my relatives and the people in the other side, that will be pap. Bhagwan said, don't worry about it, I'll free you from the pap. Then Bhagwan told Arjun that this most secret Shastra should not be apprised to those who are devoid of tap, bhakti, and not desirous of listening to it. Unless somebody has desire to listen to it, you don't go out there on the crossroad and say, come on, I'll teach you Gita. No, somebody has to come and ask you 10 different times. Make sure that they are desirous of listening to it. And in no case it should be told to those who see fault in me, Bhagwan says. Then Bhagwan told that who this Gyan should be given to. And that person who does this service to me, meaning giving this Gyan to those who are desirous of knowing it, is the dearest to me. This was Shlok 69. We have now come to the end of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. In Sansar, whatever starts must come to an end. It is the law. This dialogue between Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Arjun has come to an end. Just because the dialogue or the samvad between Sri Krishna and Arjun, which we call Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, may come to an end, the Gita, which is the Ishwar Gyan, remains as the truth. The truth never dies. So, Gita lives forever. From time to time, different people have done timely commentary. However, the truth remains the same. So, what is this truth? It's in the next slok.
अध्येष्यते च य इमं धर्म्यं संवादमावयोः ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टस्यामिति मे मतिः.
Now Bhagavan goes into the greatness of Gita. He says, he's telling Arjun the value and importance of studying Gita. So Bhagavan says, Arjun, whosoever adhyeshate will study, adhyayan, from that come adhyeshate, will study, samvad mavayo, this dialogue between us. And what kind of dialogue it is? Imam dharmyam, this sacred dialogue made up of dharma. Chatena, by him also aham ishtaswama, I shall be worshipped. So Bhagavan says those person who even studies the Shastra, I'll be worshipped by him too. And what kind of worship will it be? Gyan Yagyen. It will be through Gyan Yagya. In chapter 4, Shlok 33, Bhagavan said that the Gyan Yagna is the best, since all karma come to an end in Gyan. So by studying Gita, now here study doesn't mean you sit there and take a pillow behind your back and just read. No, you have to study. You have to put your mind to each word. It's not literal studying. You have to understand each and every word, think about it, what it means. That's study, not reading. So here, what Bhagavan is saying, that the one who even reads or studies this dialogue between us will be worshipping me through Gyan Yagna. So by reading or studying Gita, with complete attention, your mind should not be going anywhere else, just complete attention. Mat chitta, Bhagavan uses that word. Put your chit into me. The Gyan contained in it will bring an end to the karma, thus purifying his mind. Because all the karma start in the mind. It me mati. Such is my conviction. There is no two ways about it. He says, this is it. This is my conviction. You cannot say one way or the other. This is the truth, what I am telling you. So in Shlok 69-70, Bhagavan is pointing out that one who studies and one who teaches the dialogue between him and Arjun, both are worshipping him through Gyan Yagna. So what we are doing here is Gyan Yagna. Next, Bhagavan talks about the importance of listening the Gita Gyan. This is for those who say that they are unable to understand what Gita says. I don't understand, it's too complicated for me. So Bhagavan says,
Shraddhavananasuyascha Shrunuyadapi yo naraha Sopi mukta shubhan lokan Prapnuyat punya karmana.
Bhagavan says, Ya Nara. The person who, Shraddhavan, who is endued with Shraddha, Shraddhavan, or with reverence for Gita in his heart. This Shraddha is a very big word. It's very difficult to understand, which we'll go into it today, what Shraddha is and how Shraddha comes about. Shraddha is the end of the line. After that, you meet Paramatma. With reverence for Gita in his heart, and Anasuya, having no malice, meaning that he does not criticize Gita. A lot of people say, well, Gita says wrong this. I came across a book entitled Gita, says something like Shava, something like that, They are tearing down Gita. They are foolish people. They don't have any idea. They are committing sin. That's what they don't understand that. But of course, that's their mental makeup. So, have reverence. Do not criticize. If you criticize, you don't need to listen to it. Will even hear Gita with that state of mind, even listening to Gita, just by hearing the Gita, sa api, such a person also mukt will be freed from all sins, and prapnuta shall attain to me. To those, what he should attain those shubhan lokan, the superior world beyond this earthly mundane existence. Punya karma, where, what is this place? Where pious and righteous people go. Tapasvi go there. So by listening properly with your mind to it, what Bhagavan is saying, you are doing tap. And you'll go to same place like those people who do tap all their life. So just by listening, even if one does not understand what is being said in Gita, one can go to higher lokas, where those who have done righteous deeds, however, he has to meet two conditions while doing that. There must be, here's that word, Shraddha, about Gita, and that he just listens without malice and does not criticize. If there is Shraddha, person will not criticize. There will be no malice. Bhagavan Sri Chakradhar has given an example of this. In his time, it is an example of a dasi or maid servant. A maid servant of a queen watches how the queen behaves with her husband when he comes home. When she goes home, the dasi, when she goes home, she treats her husband similarly. She doesn't know what is going on, but she is copying it. So the maid will get the same phal that the queen will get. There is no malice in her mind, but she is following what the queen was doing. Same way, person may not understand what Gita is, what it means, but just following it with reverence in their mind, without being a critique of it, that too does the same thing. So even if one is unable to understand Gita, there is no excuse now. Just by listening to it with reverence and without malice, one can attain to those superior lokas where the righteous and pious people go. Having said all this, Bhagavan now asks Arjuna that I told you all with utmost emphasis. Did you listen?
कच्चिदेतच्छ्रुतं पार्थ त्वयैकाग्रेण चेतसा कच्चिदज्ञानसम्मोहः प्रणष्टस्ते धनञ्जय.
Parth kachit tvaya etat shrutam. Arjun, did you listen to this Gita, and how? How you should have listened to it? Ekagrane chetasa. You see, this is listening, not hearing. This is called listening. Ekagra chetasa. With attentive mind. Your chit should be totally, what you call, completely thinking of what you're reading or listening. Giving your attention to what I told you. Did you listen to it? And Dhananjay, Kachit Agyan sammoha pranashta te. Says, did your moh born out of Agyan has been destroyed? Now this is a big thing here. The word moh is very important word to know what this means. Having said this, Bhagavan stopped to hear what Arjun will say. It appears that by asking this question, Bhagavan destroyed the moh from Arjun's mind. Since having heard Bhagavan's question, now Arjun replies. And what he says, Arjun says,
Arjuna uvacha nashto mohasmritirlabdha tvatprasadan mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandehaha karishye vachanam tava.
Achyut, O Achyut. Now here Arjun called Bhagavan Achyut. Why does he call Bhagavan Achyut at this point? Because by asking many questions over and over and over, entire samvad, an entire conversation, Arjun could not get Bhagavan to see his point of view. Instead, Bhagavan remained steadfast on what he was saying. Arjun thought he will give all kind of excuses, so Bhagavan will agree with his point of view, which is not to fight. Besides, the Parameshwar is called Achyut. The word Achyut is for Parameshwar. Achyut means to fall. Achyut means does not fall. Who does not fall? Stayed steady. Without, and you cannot be wavered. You are Achyut. So, through thy kripa, tat prasadat, through thy kripa, mam moha, my moh or the delusion, nashto, has been destroyed, and maya smriti labdha, my smriti, I have gained my memory, wisdom, and now gat sandeh sthiti asmi, freed from all doubts. Sandeh means doubts, all doubts. I am therefore ready to do what? Karishe vachanam tava. Follow thy word. Whatever you say, I stand ready to follow your command. Without question, I shall do thy bidding. In sansar, we all have doubts, don't we? We all have doubt about something. Nobody is certain about anything. We don't know whether we're going to be here tomorrow or not, or next moment. There's doubt always. And we spend all our lives in doubt. That's what we do. Arjun was in the similar situation, but there was Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who explained and removed his doubts. Gata Sandeha is the consequence of Smriti Labdha. That means when the Smriti comes back, Sandeha goes away. The doubt is gone. Which in turn is the consequence of Nashta Moha. And it is the consequence of what? Nashta Moha is the consequence of Jnana. So they are all related. So at this point, we need to know what is this state called Moh. Everybody We read all the time, moha, you know. And Arjuna says, Nashto moha. My moha has been destroyed. Not removed, destroyed, totally annihilated. In English, it's called delusion. I talk to somebody, they say, oh, delusion is a very bad word. So that's what moha is. Moha is the state where one is joined with sansar. If you are joined with sansar, when I say you, I mean mentally, your mental makeup, your thinking process, everything is joined with sansar. It is the expansion of ego. Moha is also an expansion of ego. What is the sansar that you joined with, which causes moha? Your body. We are joined with our body, don't we? Say, it's my body. It's not my body. It's body given to me to live in for a while, for the duration, to do the karma and then leave. It's like a rental property. It doesn't belong to me. But if if we start thinking, this is my body, you are in delusion. You are in a state of delusion. Because you are believing something which is not truth. And why you do that? Because of your ego. It's my body. When you say my body, it's your ego coming in there. Ahankar. When moha is broken down, what happens? Shraddha awakens. Without moha being destroyed, Shraddha cannot be awakened within us. We can say all we want to say. That's the way. That's when Shraddha will awaken inside of us. The Shraddha enables us to put our head up at the feet of Paramatma. Unless we get Shraddha awakened in us, we cannot accomplish that. And how does Shraddha awakens? By Nashto Moha. And what is moha? Connecting myself to the sansar. Everything in sansar. It's my house, it's my car, my children, my wife, my husband. Then nobody belongs to anybody. If they are yours, then they will be there when you are here, and when you are gone, they'll go with you. Okay? Only thing which is belonging to you is your karma. And that's why this body is given to us, so we can perform karma. And Bhagavan says you can do karma to go up, or you can go down, go to nark, or you go to heaven, or you come to me. Anything you want to do. That's why Bhagavan says you cannot even stay a moment without doing karma, because this is what body is made to do. Made to do karma. A choice is yours, what kind of karma you want to do, whether you want to choose to go up, or you want to go down, or you want to just float around where you are. It's your choice. That's what Bhagavan said. I told you everything. I leave up to you, Arjun, to decide what you want to do. Bhagavan doesn't take any sides. So, and without going to at the feet of the Paramatma, there is no Gyan. Gyan is not coming. You have to be numb. You have to become totally surrendering yourself to Paramatma. That's the only time he will give you Gyan. That's what Arjun did in chapter 2, didn't he? No. Bhagavan has said in chapter 4, Shlok 39, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Those who have Shraddha, only those can get the Gyan. And today we saw how we get Shraddha, what Shraddha is, what we have to do to get Shraddha. This is a very serious conversation, very serious matter. It is our life and death. That's what this is. We have to decide where we want to go. A similar situation was in Shakespeare's play Hamlet. There the new king was his uncle who had killed his father. If I am wrong, correct me. And he also became his stepfather. He married his brother's wife. So Hamlet was all confused what to do. With the famous quote, to be or not to be. In one case, he was to take revenge of his father's death, murder. Also, if he killed his new king father, who was his uncle, his mother will become a widow. Right? The play ends in the death of the new king, the queen, and the Hamlet himself, because there was nobody to explain to him what to do. Here, Arjun was lucky to get Bhagavan Krishna to tell him what to do, what path he should take. Arjun was also in this situation that in order to get his part of the kingdom, should he kill his brothers? That was a question in his mind. But with Bhagavan's kripa, his delusion was destroyed. Having heard this dialogue between Bhagavan and Arjun, Sanjay makes observations and tells Dhritarashtra the greatness of this dialogue. Sanjay Uvach.
Sanjaya Uvacha Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmanaha Samvadamimam Ashrausham Adbhutam Romaharshanam.
From now on, Sanjay will speak. Sanjay relates to Dhritarashtra the joy of listening to this dialogue between Bhagavan, Sri Krishna and Arjun. Sanjay says, O Rajan, king, iti, in this way, aham, I, Ashrama, I listened to imam adbhutam samvadam. What kind of samvad? Adbhut samvad. Totally out of the world samvad. This extraordinary and mysterious dialogue, which has never before has been said by anyone. No one has said that before. Vasudeva. This dialogue of Sri Vasudeva cha Mahatmana Parthas, and that of Mahatma Parth or Arjun. And how was this dialogue between these two? Romaharshana. It was so joyous that it made the hair stand. Romaharshana. He was so happy. Harsh is not happiness, it's harsh which comes from within. So, since Sanjay was listening to dialogue with complete attention, see, he had to listen to convey to Dhritarashtra as things were going on. So he has to pay total attention. So he was listening with complete attention. While witnessing it, also, his heart experienced the joy of Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Arjun's dialogue. not his ears, his heart. It pierced him. And he experienced the joy of listening to this dialogue, this samvad. He says,
व्यासप्रसादात् श्रुतवान् एतद्गुह्यमहं परम् योगं योगेश्वरात् कृष्णात् साक्षात् कथयतः स्वयम्
Vyas Prasadat. This was the kripa of my Guru Vyas. Prasad means he was prasanna. Okay. So when one is prasanna, he gives something, right? So it was the gift of his Guru Vyas, Prasad, with which aham, I could, Shrutman, hear what I could hear, etat param guhyam, this extremely esoteric, secret gospel, etat param guhyam. It is so guhya, so secretive. Without his kripa, I could not even listen to it. Yogam, of yoga, kathayata, that was described for Arjun, Yogeshwara Sakshat Krishnat, Swayam. Yogeshwarat Sakshat Krishnat Swayam. By the Yogeshwar, Sri Krishna himself in person directly to Arjun. It's very hard to get this kind of jnana. There is three words: Shravan, Manan, and Nididhyasa. It relates to three different levels of people. One who by listening to something gets it completely. His heart, his mind is so pure that he just listens to it and he gets it. He doesn't have no questions. Sanshaya is gone. That is Shravan. That happens when Parmeshwar gives jnana to anybody directly, just like Bhagavan Krishna is done to Arjun. Next is Manan. The next level of person he doesn't have that capacity to totally absorb and understand instantly what he heard. So he has to go back and do Manan. He's got to ponder on it over and over and over. Every time he goes over, he learns a little more. Goes over, he learns a little more like that. That's Manan. Then there are people who cannot even get through Manan. They have to do Nididhyasana, which is called sadhana. Sadhana means you have to get up in the morning, do this. You have to go through rituals. So there are three levels of people, and there is three. This thing, one is Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana. So what was the kripa of Vyas here? It was that Vyas gave a power to Sanjay. What was the power? This empowered him to see as well as hear whatever was happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra while he was sitting in the palace. This was an Antaryag Vidya, which Vishnu has given that power, Vidya, through his eyes to Vyas, which produces a light within, and the recipient is empowered to hear and see whatever is happening far away. So Sanjay continues to express his joy having witnessed this divine dialogue. He says,
Rajan samsmritya samsmritya संवादमिमम् अद्भुतम् केशवार्जुनयोः पुण्यम् हृष्यामि च मुहुर्मुहुः.
Sansmritya. As I remember and remember again. Smrit means remembering. Sansmritya. As I remember and remember again, thinking about it. Imam punyam adbhutam. That sacred and mystic adbhut samvadam, the dialogue, the conversation. One is Bhagwan, other one is his bhakt who thinks he considers him as Sakha, his friend. So everything starts with friendship. Unless there is friendship, maitri, things don't go further. And that signifies a love for one another. The true friend love each other. So in this case, Arjun considered Bhagavan Krishna as his Sakha, his friend. Later on, because he had that love for Bhagavan Krishna, things worked out for him. Okay? He says, conversation Keshava Arjunayo, between Keshav and Arjun. Rajan, O king, Rashami cha muhur muhur. I rejoice again and again by listening to it, thinking about it. See, he was given power, so he could remember everything, what was going on in the battlefield. Not just see and convey to Dhritarashtra, but he remembered. And he was thinking over and over at the end how beautiful it was. Next, Sanjay describes his joy after seeing the Vishwaroop of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Bhagavan Sri Krishna showed the Vishwaroop.
Tacca samsmritya samsmritya रूपमत्यद्भुतं हरेः विस्मयो मे महान् राजन् हृष्यामि च पुनः पुनः.
Rajan, O king, cha smritya, and also remembering again and again, tat ati adbhudam rupam, that most wonderful form, the Vishwaroop of Hare, means of Hari Sri Krishna. See, he was given the Vidya of Vishnu because his guru was disciple of Vishnu. Okay, so he was thinking he could only see Bhagavan Krishna in the form of Vishnu, not beyond that. So he says, the most wonderful form of Sri Hari, Hari is another name for Vishnu. Hey Mahan Vismaya, there is a great amazement in my chit. Just by watching that, I looked at it, I remember it, and it's giving amazement within my chit, within my heart. cha punah punah. And I am repeatedly elated by that observation, that feeling. Having explained his experience of watching the Vishwarup of Bhagavan Sri Krishna and the dialogue between Bhagavan and Arjun, Sanjay concludes by stating his decision of the influence of Bhagavan Sri Krishna and Arjun in the last slok.
यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिः ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम.
Sanjay is saying, he concludes, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Wherever there is Yogeshwar Krishna, he is using Yogeshwar word, Yogeshwar. And if you see Bhagavad Gita, every chapter is Yoga Shastre. So what is this yoga which Yogeshwar is giving? What is this yoga? Yoga does two things. It breaks you away from sansar and unites you with Paramatma. Yoga just doesn't mean joining. You cannot repair something unless it's broken. Correct? So Yoga Shastra, what it does, it breaks you away from the sansar. Because being attached to sansar is a state of moh, delusion. You live a delusional life. So what Yoga Shastra does, it breaks you away from that delusional life. And now you have to go somewhere. You cannot be just floating around in the air. So it connects you with Parameshwar. So one side it breaks, other side it joins. So that's what yoga is. And who does that? The Ishwar of yoga, the Yogeshwar can do that. Only Paramatma can do that. Nobody else. So he's using the word Yogeshwara. Yatra Partha Dhanurdhana. And wherever there is bearer of Gandhi, the warrior, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuva says there will be prosperity, victory, and sound policy. You will not go wrong. Meti mamam. Such is my conviction. See, Bhagavan Krishna gave his conviction before. Now Sanjay is giving his conviction. This is how I see it. This is how it is. So in conclusion, it is very clear that without the Ishwar Gyan, we all humans remain in the state of delusion, moh. As we saw that Arjun became free of moh only after listening to the Gyan. Secondly, Bhagavan says that by reading or listening to his Gyan, one can get on this right path. He didn't say come to me. He said you get on the path to me. Then Bhagavan says that anyone who facilitates this is very dear to me. And having listened this pious conversation between Bhagavan and Arjun, it became evident to Sanjay that the victory, the prosperity will come to Pandav only. He told that to Dhritarashtra in so many words. And he told this Dhritarashtra in no uncertain terms. Therefore, in our everyday life, It behooves us to follow the Gyan as described in Gita. Without it, there is no mukti. There are countless treatises on Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. However, most either give the word meaning or explain the meaning of shlok based on concept of Ishwar. In general, Hindus consider Bhagavan Krishna to be the avatar of Vishnu. This does not convey the correct meaning. When you don't even know who it is in reality who is talking, how can you understand what he's saying? Here, the effort has been made to have the explanation based on Ishwar Gyan. In the 90 discourses, I have tried to give details in English language. These can be accessed in the YouTube channel under Melbourne Gita Samaaj. I hope this will help some people. I know it won't help everybody, but hope it will help some people. And this is where I say goodbye and end it. Jai Shri Krishna. Iti tatsiti Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Supnishatsu Yog Vidyayam Yog Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Krishna Samasi Yogo Nam Shri Chakradhar Shri Krishna Arpada.